The meaning of the Last Supper. The Lord says, Now choose a text again, and we'll see if it fits our cause. And in the evening he comes with the 12. We have the text before us now, and I must make the old remark again, that you still couldn't find a text which does not exactly relate to our cause. The present text may not seem to have much in common with our cause outwardly, but this is not the case by any means. Actually, it is the opposite. It has the greatest connection to our cause, and if you had not chosen it, I would have chosen it. And in the evening he comes with the 12. Who came? The Lord of eternity came. When? In the evening. And where to did he come? To the dining room that has been prepared by his disciples. With whom? With his chosen 12 apostles. What did he do in the dining room? He held a supper, at which some got satisfied, and some became angry. And likewise, the traitor was indicated on the same evening during the supper. The complete picture lies before you here, and you can grab its cause with the hands. What does the evening mean? It is a semi-light state of the day, in which the light starts to fade away, and continues to do so until no sun rays can be discovered anywhere. When does such an evening occur with man? Certainly, by considering it in a spiritual way, namely, when he has read and studied a lot. Reading and studying corresponds to the sun rays shining all day, but as these sun rays in their appearance are natural, so are the rays of reading and studying naturally. But the sun goes down at the end of the day, and the evening sets in, and eventually night falls. It is the same with the light of reading and studying. The one who reads and studies finally gets tired and grumpy because he was unable to increase his inner light by all his reading and studying. As little as the light of the sun can be multiplied, it remains in its consistent ratio. During summer it is stronger, and during winter it is weaker, and this always happens in the same increasing and decreasing ratio. In the same way, the morning light is weaker, and it gets stronger towards noonday, and towards the evening it becomes weaker again. It works just like that with the outer education of man while reading and studying. When he begins to read and study in a well-equipped library, this is his morning in regard to his reading and studying. When his eyes hurt from reading throughout several years, and he believes to have consumed the entire wisdom of Solomon, he has reached his noonday or summer. He then continues to read and study, but unfortunately, he will find nothing new anymore, but rather he only comes across ideas that are already known to him. By that, he will get tired, because he cannot find any new and refreshing food, and he will not find any more proof for his absorbed theories, but more often than not, he will find the hugest rebuttals for all that, which he has internalized with such a great zeal and effort. His gold, which he believed to be true, more often than not turns into lead, and when he has recognized this little valued metal within himself instead of the gold, he will become sullen and discontented, and he loses all ground, and at the end, he is standing like a hiker on an alpine meadow, as dense fogs have surrounded him. Behold, this estate is the evening of man. Usually one says, When the chips are down, then he will eat humble pie, crawl to the cross, which would certainly be better if you would say, the cross is crawling over him. Therefore, in a time of need, man starts to think if the teaching of Christ could be true, and this thought resembles this text. And in the evening he comes with the 12. Because the Lord is understood to be the founder of the teaching, and the 12 are understood as the teaching itself by the oppressed. Where does he and the 12 go to? To the dining room that has been prepared with food and drinks. Who is this room? Man himself at his evening, because he has a lot of food and drinks within himself. But since the one is not present, for whom the food is or should be prepared, the dishes will stand there until the one comes, who wants to bless the food and then enjoy it. Because without any consumers, the food is futile and has no value. In this way, all science and literacy has also no value, and man has equipped his intellectual dining room and dining table in vain, if the one is not there, who blesses these dishes, and then consumes and transforms them into a spirit invigorating juice. But the Lord himself comes in the evening with the 12, or the founder with his teaching enters the dining room, sits down at the table, blesses and consumes the dishes. However, because the dishes are natural, so is its effect the same as the effect of that Last Supper, in which the Lord gave a true living communion in the words of love, about which many disciples get angry and say, "This teaching is extremely hard. Who can believe and obey this?" The disciples take off, and soon after the traitor is indicated. Who are the disciples who get angry and walk away? These are the false justifications of all that has been read and studied. These are held against the principles of the teaching of Christ. Then soon a general contradiction arises, which has the following wording. A teaching that is so full of contradictions cannot possibly be of divine origin. It is therefore only a temporary and shallow product of scientifically uneducated men, and therefore also of inconsistent people who have just put together something by way of eclecticism, selection from philosophical doctrines, in order to make the poor humanity liable to tribute and interest. Thereby, as they say, the baby is thrown out with the bathwater, or the traitor is indicated, and he soon departs and does what he was called to do. He handed the living over to death, and he perishes with it. And this is the night that follows after the evening, or also, everything in man is now dead. And so, I come in all seriousness to everyone during the evening with the 12, finding the dining room and table filled, but they are all natural dishes. Do I consume these also, or do I condone them upon condition that they convert these dishes into active dishes of love, by saying that one should do that in remembrance of me, or in my name, and not in one's own out of self-love, self-honor, or self-praise? The disciples start to get angry and become adverse to me. Judas is starting to sit there, naked, and it does not take long after such a betrayal that the death sentence is announced to me. Therefore, do not wait until the evening, but call to me during the morning, when you are still full of power and receptive, and I will then come to you and say, don't walk around too much in the rays of the sun. They will tire you and let you become inactive, but rather strengthen yourself in the cooling shadow below the tree of life, so that you abide active during the whole day. And when I will come to you in the evening, you will indeed recognize me. And when I will ask you, what about your dining room? Don't you have anything to eat? Are you starving? You will only have a small and poor inventory of dishes to show, but I will bless it, and I will sit with you at the table, upon which no traitor of mine awaits me. Or the few skills that you have, I will extend to the size of a central sun, so you may receive out of it light in an endless abundance. I think the text, and in the evening he comes with the 12, should be very clear before everyone's eyes, and explain the matter completely. But nevertheless, I will not put an end to my generosity yet.